You know, chat room, it's been an interesting last, like 16 hours or so. As interesting as thinking Goofy Hat Matt for another big 5 gifted. Thanks, chat room. You guys should be patting yourselves on the back for fighting the good fight and constantly yelling into the void along with me about why you care about something that's this important, right? And thus far, we haven't had a lot of success in making people believe us. But there's a big win today in terms of the good fight against delay-based netcode. This is definitely a big one. Yesterday, we saw an announcement, and Ark said the closed beta signups for Guilty Gear Strive have begun. For details, please check the official website. There's a thing here. There's a bunch of information. And as we were reading it, as we were looking through it, etc., we were like, all right, cool. There's like a thing you can sign up and everything. That's great. As great as thanking Waterfruit for gifting the big sub the rollback. As you zoom in, there was a small little tidbit here. And it said, although the current beta test build is using a similar delay-based netcode from previous titles, a rollback-based netcode is currently in development for the final product of the game. Look at that. I couldn't believe it. I literally I screamed when I saw it. I yelled. I couldn't remove the smile from my face. It was such a good feeling. And I feel like I slept with this smile on my face. They also followed up with, as a lot of people are mentioning, the Kai mic drop tweet. That was their big announcement. And the unfortunate thing is that obviously this announcement and the trailers that they're going to be releasing this weekend, they were supposed to be at like final round in Brussels, right? Imagine that. Just being in the crowd for when this happened, that shit would have been incredible. Yeah, this is such a big win. It's hard to explain how big of a win this is. They announced the rollback netcode thing, and I gotta say, there's a lot about this that makes me so happy. Although the current beta test build is using a similar delay-based netcode from previous titles, a rollback-based netcode is currently in development for the final product of the game. You guys know what this means, right? This means that the plan from the start, it seems like, was probably to use delay-based netcode. It's clear that, you know, they didn't build the game with rollback netcode in mind, but there was so much noise from you guys and from so many people who really demanded that the netcode be improved that they were like, you know what? All right. First of all, thanks to all of you for raising your voices and yelling and joining everybody in writing in the surveys and saying, hey, the netcode is very important. And second, you have to give Ark a lot of credit for listening, right? It's going to be a little bit expensive the first time they do it, but once they do rollback netcode and they do it correctly, it'll be something that they can use in all their other fighting games and make sure that it happens. So a lot of people were saying, how do we know that this implementation is going to be good? How do we know Arcsys isn't going to fuck up the rollback on this, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera? If you guys don't know who Zynak is, right? Zynak tweeted, hey, I'm going to be overseeing it, making sure that we avoid some of the pitfalls that, you know, kind of give a lot of the other implementations of rollback trouble. He worked on Killer Instinct. He worked on the KI team. And he's been working on a lot of, you know, Arcsys stuff for a while. I think he's been there for like a year and a half or 2 years or something already. He's been there a while. And the first thing that happened is as soon as this tweet dropped, this mic drop tweet, he tweeted, kept you waiting, huh? God damn it. I was out here this whole time in the rain with my boom box, you know, just playing the same song 100 times in a row. His Twitter is private now. He made his Twitter private, I imagine, because he got swarmed by like 1 million people when everybody found out. I'm sure that he was one of the biggest proponents of rollback in Arcsys. You have to give him a lot of credit. I'm sure that he was fighting tooth and nail to put rollback in the game. So he's worked on rollback before. He was on KI years and years ago, and he can make sure that the implementation they do is done correctly out of the gate so that we don't have to worry about it too much. Zynak's great. He's also an extremely good gear player. If you guys have never seen him play gear, he's a really, really good Faust player. It's just so unbelievable. Like, I can't, this seems like such an unlikely timeline. To think that enough noise was raised to make this happen is truly incredible and surprising, right? This is another message that I think is quite important here that we see. I don't claim credits where I don't deserve. This one honestly is not me, just one of the voices. Team America did most of the persuading. They're the GOATs. The U.S. office of Arcsys, the wonderful people, by the way. The netcode paladins at Arcsys USA, heroes, honestly. I'm a big fan. As big fan of this
Our deal
666.
is finally done. Enjoy your rollback, mortal.
You can have my hands back. They're yours. I know that I've temporarily wrested them back away from you. You can have them back. I don't need them anymore. I did what I had to do, and I don't regret it for a goddamn minute. I'm gonna end up with Fry's hands. I guess I'll just stay inside and yell about Rollback some more. You know, a lot of people have had very, like, conflicting feelings about the game so far. They're making so many changes to the game. They're making this, the UI this, oh, the netcode that, no testament, no invest descent. Now look. Listen, they've been very responsive so far and listening to a lot of the feedback people have given. I have to give them credit to that. As far as everything else they'll do in the rest of the game, like how the game is going to play, what the game is going to be like, what the roster will be like, all that kind of stuff, I don't know what's going to happen. I just know that, you know, a lot of people have put a lot of time into trying to do this right, and this is such a new and interesting game. I'll give them credit. I mean, this game is a day one purchase for me. They've done more than what I even ever expected to get my money at this point. Like, a lot of the Japanese players were like, there's so much depth to the game, it's like so interesting and stuff like that, and I'm like, we'll see. As of right now, I am honestly shocked, but very pleased to see that Arcsys is listening, and I hope that other companies do the same. The only thing that would make me even happier is if now we get an announcement for the new KOF that says, hey, Code Mystics is working on our netcode. We're going to have rollback. You guys know that this should be the standard. I mean, it's time, right? These companies, they have to really recognize that this is something that people really care about. Even before there was a global pandemic that made all of us have to play everything inside, online play was such an important part of fighting games. It should have been the standard for a while, and it feels good to think that this is an important step towards it. Smash Ultimate, I don't know, man. Nintendo's a whole nother beast. You're gonna need 5,000 Zynax at Nintendo to convince 5 people. I'm sure the rollback netcode they're gonna do later on, they'll probably do a test for it to see, you know, how it's performing and everything. And I'm performing my best for Deb, who dropped the big rating party. Hey, thanks very much. Now people like Deb, who are only good on 5 to 8 frames of delay, will be exposed. That's what I'm talking about. These scrubs who can only play when the connection is 8 frames online. He's air throwing people. He's doing these. Bro, I'm seeing him do like 5H IAD combos and shit, and I'm like, come on, man. How the fuck are you doing this on 8 frames of delay, bro? This shit's impossible. And he's just like, check this out. I don't know how he plays in that connection, to be honest. It's impressive. This is a big deal. This is such a big W today, chat room. It makes me very happy. Say thank you to your local Ark developer. If you see them, especially, they said on the USA side, they fought really hard for this. Tell them they're sweet humans and that you appreciate them very much. I appreciate them very much. They definitely made my day and my week, my month, my year for sure. 2020, it's coming around. Global pandemic, still happening. But this is a small W, and I'll take it. We pray at the altar of Soul Bad Guy. You gotta do a Hail Mary for him. I cannot believe it. Thanks to all of you for listening to me ramble about Rollback Netcode, for yelling about how important Rollback is to your experience, for filling out those surveys, for watching Esteban's video, for reading the netcode guide, for reading all of the information put out there, for watching all the videos about Rollback, and not thinking that we are some crazy people yelling into the void, and that it is worth considering. Thanks very much. You got to lead us into the crossplay future now. The rollback war still rages on. Once we've won every battle in the rollback war, then we can go and focus on something else.